guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I'm celebrating hitting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Guys, thank you so much for that. Obviously, couldn't have done it without you. It really means a lot. I mean, I started this not, for fun, not really thinking people would watch. I just wanted to talk about watches. I didn't really think it would spur a business, let alone, I'd be doing it 5 years later. That's kind of a shock to me. And for that, I really thank you. Now, today to celebrate, I'm doing an AMA. And ask me anything, personal, business, or watch related. In fact, those questions are going to be separated. First personal, then business, then watches. And we had over 300 questions asked. Obviously, I can't answer all of them, but I'm going to try my best to get through a few. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing my Girard-Perregaux Laureato Evo Moonphase. Absolutely love this watch. And also, guys, a few cool watches came into Del Rey Watch. We just got in a pre-ceramic Rolex Submariner 16610 running like a charm. We got in a Blancpain Le Mans time zone. That's a dual time Le Mans with a day-night indicator. Very, very cool watch. And another very cool time zone watch, the Montblanc Geosphere, which I did a whole video about previously with the double hemisphere display. All that and more at delraywatch.com, link in the description below. Anyway, guys, these are the questions you asked on Instagram. That's at Federico Talks Watches. I put up the picture, you asked the question, and I'm going to answer them today, starting first with the personal section. Bien Ben Zero says, what's your Serie A team? My favorite Italian football team, and that is Napoli. My entire family's from Napoli. We're from the south. My mom is the biggest Napoli fan I know. Kind of crazy, right? But yeah, my Serie A team is Napoli. Been suffering for the past few years. We keep getting super close, but never quite there. D. Wright says, what was your first job in the watch industry? My first job was a temporary sales associate for the holidays at Cartier Fifth Avenue. Didn't really know anything about watches. Never really had a real job before. But that was my first watch. My first job in the watch industry. And like my second job. I took it right after dropping out of college for the God knows how many, at least 4 times. Noah Trooper asks, are you into coffee? What's your favorite coffee drink? And do you have any high-end coffee gear? Not really. My whole family's into coffee. I'm not a huge coffee guy. I drink one in the morning to kind of wake up. But honestly, I just have a simple Nespresso, and I use not the Nespresso capsules, but the Kimbo capsules. Kimbo's the coffee from Naples, my hometown coffee, but they come in little Nespresso capsules. I put one in, put it in espresso, with tiny bit of brown sugar, no milk, nothing like that. And double espresso in the morning. That's about it. Baz Chudazama. Sorry if I butchered that. What is your dream car and dream watch? If you could only have one of them, which would it be? Watch, I don't know. A dream watch at this point in my life would be something totally custom. Like, have F.P. Journe or H. Moser make a watch specifically for me. I know it's a lot to ask, but I don't really have a dream watch. It really changes often, but dream car is pretty easy. Ferrari Maranello Super America with that top. Now, normal Maranello, it's reasonably affordable for a Ferrari. You're probably talking the mid 100s, but the Super America is in the mid 300s, and I'm nowhere near close to getting that car. But that is, I think, the most beautiful 90s design. It's still, you can still kind of drive it every day almost. I mean, yes, it's still a Ferrari, but it's got conveniences. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love that top. If I could only pick a dream car or dream watch, I'd probably go with a dream watch, to be very honest with you. But I know what my dream car is. I just don't know what my dream watch is. Books on time. Charlie, how come you're not on Clubhouse all the time? Well, actually, I got invited to Clubhouse, and I've checked out the app. I always see people on it, guys from, Adrian from Mark and Jack is always on it. I see Jenny L is on it. Spanish Rob from Instagram is on it all the time. But the truth is, I spend so much time talking about watches on my YouTube channel and at work that I'll go and listen, but then when I go listen, people realize I'm there because there's no way to hide yourself, so they invite me to be a speaker, and then I just turn off the app because it's not me trying to be rude. Actually, I've never really hung out with Adrian from Bark and Jack or Jenny L. So Adrian, Jenny, if you're watching this, I'd love to collab at some point. But just on Clubhouse, I don't know. I get put on the spot, and to become a speaker, it's just not really my thing. I'm generally all watched out by the end of the day. The Pigs in Blanket says, nice work, Fed. Love the channel. Thank you. What is your preferred gin for your martini? Olive or a twist? Preferred gin, Citadel. Mentioned it before. Love it. And never a twist. Always an olive, and I like my martini dirty. None of that blue cheese olive shit. I'm talking simple, pitted olive. Love it. 3 olives, Citadel gin, vermouth, a little bit of dirtiness. That's the perfect martini for me. N. Dolciato says, congrats, Fed. What do you think of the new Ferrari Roma as a daily? I've never driven one. I haven't driven one yet. I think it's going to be a great car. It's fast. It's convenient. It's got great tech. But it looks just like an Aston Martin. And if I wanted an Aston Martin, I'd buy an Aston Martin. It looks great, but it doesn't look like a Ferrari. And that kind of bothers me. Terp to Graham says, do you have a European passport? And what European countries have you been to? Well, yes, I do have a European passport. I have an Italian passport along with my American. And I've been to most European countries. I mean, I lived in the UK, I lived in Spain, I lived in Italy. I've been to Greece a bunch, Portugal, Ireland. I've been to parts of Eastern Europe. I guess I haven't been to Russia, and I haven't been to a lot of the ex-Soviet republics. It's kind of interesting to me. I'd like to do that. I've been to Germany. But yeah, I guess mostly the eastern part of Europe is yet to be explored. And also Austria. I had a lot of friends in Austria, haven't been, would love to go. Now moving on to the business questions. So changing gear. DJ Bear says, Fed, how often do you have to give the news to clients that their watch is fake? I assume when they send the watch in for service or to sell it to me. Actually, it very rarely happens. I mean, in an email, I probably, out of like 100 customers, I probably tell one, so like 1%. And I usually catch it in the picture stage. How many times does a fake watch come through Delray Watch where we opened it and it's fake? 3 or 4 times in the past 4 years, maybe like once a year. So it's not really that often. But yeah, it's never fun to tell people their watch is fake because either they knew, and I generally think most of them do know, but in case they didn't, I mean, that's some pretty shitty news. And who likes giving bad news? I certainly don't. Complicated Decisions says, how many watches do ADs and boutiques sell in a day? What percentage of customers who walk in are just to window shop? Well, this depends massively on where the boutique is. I mean, when I worked at Wempy at the height of the watch crisis, the watch like boom, you could easily sell 10 watches, 15 watches in a day. But I also know of stores like mono-brand boutiques particularly that probably sell 1 or 2 watches a week if they're lucky. Smaller brands, like Piaget, Girard-Perregaux, when they had a boutique, Parmigiani. I mean, if Parmigiani sold 2 watches a month, I think it's a good month for them. Those boutiques are really meant as loss leaders. They're really meant to kind of advertise to the public, hey, we're here. They're not really making any money. And that's not always sustainable, particularly for a small brand. But a lot of boutiques aren't there to sell watches. They're mainly there as advertising. What percentage of people walk in are there just to window shop to buy? I'd say like 85% are window shopping, 15% are buying. But people that go into window shop are buyers in the future potentially. So you have to treat everybody with the best service, because just because I walk in today and I'm not buying anything doesn't mean I don't want to buy anything in 3 weeks or maybe a year, whatever, however long it is. You have some interest in watches, which means you are a potential sale. And any good salesman knows you cultivate sales from the beginning. EENY65 says, 10 years from now, what is the future of large-scale watch retailers? Will stores such as Tourneau and Watches of Switzerland be around, at least in the U.S.? A lot of people are going to call me biased because I'm an internet watch dealer, but I thoroughly believe that Tourneau and Watches of Switzerland, maybe not in 10 years, but in 20 years, will be totally out of business, at least in brick and mortar stores. Already, shopping has moved online. Be it watches or just shopping has gone online. Now, luxury goods are the last to adapt. People want to try on the product. It's an expensive product. But also, you have to remember, brands don't like authorized dealers. Omega shut down almost every authorized dealer in the States, and they started opening Omega boutiques. Why split the margin with an authorized dealer if you don't have to? IWC's opening boutiques, Panerai's opening boutique, Jaeger's opening boutiques, Omega's opening boutiques. When you have a boutique, why the hell would you have an authorized dealer? So slowly, a lot of these ADs are full of smaller brands which are harder to sell anyway. Jacques Edreau, Roger Dubuis, H. Moser, brands that don't have boutiques yet, and you can't survive off of those at all. So I think not only is the shopping atmosphere going against authorized dealers, but the brands are going after authorized dealers. So I think these multi-brand businesses will soon be gone. Now, moving on to watches. Vlad Moroz says, congrats. Cartier Tank Solo, automatic or quartz? Automatic. If there's an automatic version, always go automatic. Let me see here. Moving along. JP118. Congrats, Fed. What's your take on the Omega Speedmaster Dark Side of the Moon? I think it's a very cool watch. It's a modern Omega Speedmaster with the in-house automatic movement with a column wheel and updated kind of materials, which is ceramic. Now, the steel versions don't really sell well in the coaxial, but the Dark Side of the Moon and the gray side of the moon actually do rather well. I find them a little large. I think they're 44 millimeters, but very, very cool watches overall. It's kind of like the future of the Speedmaster, but today. And I do find that quite intriguing. Let me see here. Baz Chudasama. What is... Oh, actually, I already answered that. Excuse me. Oh, here we go. Bracelets and bezel. Congrats. Hope you're doing well. What's your biggest watch purchasing regret? What piece and why? It was going to be a very complicated reverso. I think it was the Grand GMT, and I saw it at Wempe when I was working there. And it was like 65% off because it was in the display case forever. But at that point, it was like a $14,000 retail. So it was still like above $6,000, which is a lot of money for anyone. I mean, today I could afford it no problem. But not no problem, but I would easily buy it, right? Especially because I'm a watch dealer, I can sell it if I don't want it. But back then, I tried it on, I hooed, I hawed, I even hid it for a couple of days in the store so nobody would buy it. But in the end, I chose not to get it, and now it's a very hard piece to sell. Not to sell, a very hard piece to find, to buy. It's a piece that they didn't make many of, it wasn't particularly popular, and now finding it pre-owned is almost impossible. That is a massive regret because it was a ton of complications and a ton of watch for the money. And I didn't snap it up. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. I need to get back to work. Thank you so much for the 100K. Means a lot to me. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really does help. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. Guys, thank you so much and take care.